Hey, my name is Rolando Quintana. Thank you for joining me for this video. Each year, more than 46,000 people die because of car-related incidents. One death on its own is too many. Because of that, I am making this video in order to ensure you, the driver, have all the knowledge necessary in order to minimize the amount of danger you put yourself and others in. Throughout the course of this video, we will cover topics of both operating a vehicle as well as maintaining a vehicle. There are specific things that you need to look out for before even starting your car, specific things you need to look out for within your car, as well as things outside of your car in your environment around you. Things ranging from yourself, your own well-being, and the safety of yourself to the passengers in your car as well, making sure seatbelts are fastened and proper safety precautions are taken in that regard, including car seats and things of that nature. With that being said, let's head to the car and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, we made it. First things first, we need to make sure we know exactly where we're going and how we're going to get there. A lot of individuals today are using things like Google Maps for their navigation, especially when they go into new places. That's great, perfectly fine. The one thing I do want to mention and make sure you're avoiding right offhand is looking at your phone screen while you're using Google Maps to navigate. Reason being is because if you're coming up on a stoplight or even just going to make a turn, glancing down at your phone is a complete distraction, takes your eyes off the road, and can cause serious accidents or incidents on the road. That being said, the next step and first best practice that we're going to follow is actually doing a quick walk around of the car, making sure there's no blowouts or flats or anything hanging off the car, things like fenders or bumpers. Maybe we hit something when we were parking, we didn't notice. And so we want to make sure that nothing's actually going to be falling off the car. So we'll go ahead and jump right outside, do a quick walk around, and come back in here for the second part. All right, and looking at this car here, we could see this front tire looks perfectly fine. Coming around to this back tire, you can see that looks good as well. Rear bumper looks okay. This tire looks good as well. Tire looks fine, and we got our windshield wipers. Headlights are a go. Front bumper looks good. So we're good to go on the outside of the car. We'll jump back in and get started on the safety precautions of actually driving this car. Now, whenever I get in the car, immediately first thing I'm thinking is seatbelts. Seatbelts, seatbelts, seatbelts. Those are going to be your safest and most steadfast way of ensuring that you're safe on the road and that your passengers are as well. So we're going to go ahead and put ours on. And if you have any passengers in the car, best practice is to make sure everybody's wearing a seatbelt before you even think about starting the car. So I got my seatbelt on. I'm ready to go. Second to that, we're actually going to check our mirrors. So taking a look here, rear view mirror, making sure it's angled correctly for where we can see without having to lean our body any direction at all. And then as well, we're looking at our side mirrors, making sure we can see back, out, and behind us clearly. Doing so any blind spot issues or minimize any blind spot issues. Obviously, when we're driving, we're going to have to remember, always check your blind spots before, making any lane changes or anything like that. Just a quick glance over the shoulder can be the difference between life or death when it comes to driving. So very important there. Now we got our seatbelts, we got our mirrors ready to go. So we'll go ahead and we're ready to turn on the ignition. All right, and the car has started up. The first thing, once the car turns on, you want to look at your dash. Make sure there's no lights going on, any check engine, oil, air pressure lights, anything like that. If your car is lit up like a Christmas tree, don't drive it. You need to do some maintenance before you're ready to take it out on the road. Next, you're actually going to want to listen to the car. Make sure it sounds okay, no odd sounds out of the ordinary. Any knocking or screeching, going to be some red flags when it comes to driving as well. Going to want to make sure you get that taken care of before you're ready to take that out on the road. Now that being said, I want to take a quick second to talk about vehicle maintenance before we actually wrap up this video. when it comes to vehicle maintenance, things like oil changes and, tune-ups like spark plugs and things like that might not sound like the most convenient thing to do, or even the most cost-effective thing to do. But you can't really put a price on your life and your safety, so that's why it's always going to be your top priority to make sure that you're doing your vehicle maintenance regularly. Follow the guidelines in your safety manual that's included with your car. If you don't have a safety manual, reach out to your local shop mechanic. They can usually provide some great resources and guidelines for you to follow when it comes to vehicle maintenance. That being said, we've gone ahead and done our safety checks, so we're ready to head out on the road. And thank you for joining me. Safe driving.